Hello, it's Max. Today I'm running the Up the Cherries in All Departments YouTube channel. This is the free fall for the Bournemouth v Newcastle. Get your opinions and thoughts in the chat, and you've got people joining us up now. I'm going to add them all in. So we've got Rody here. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, disappointing for the game. Obviously, I'm a Newcastle fan, so
Yeah.
I was on John Sinclair TV with Craig on I guess Friday night preview.
Yeah.
So disappointed, but it's a decent game, and you deserved your point, and you were unlucky not to nick all three at the end with a clearance off the line by Trippier.
Yeah.
We were very flat.
Yeah.
Not. It's probably one of our worst performances since the World Cup break.
Yeah.
But part of that was down to you guys.
Yeah, so I was expecting us to lose anyway, but yeah, I'm happy with a point at the end of the day against Newcastle. I mean, you're a top 4 team, aren't you? You're proving it under Eddie Howe and that. Let's add John in.
We got Craig, we got Rowley. How are you doing, guys? You great?
Yeah, good, thanks. What do you think of the game then, John, yesterday?
I'll go with what Rowley's been saying, that it's disappointed, to not to win that game. I mean, I thought Bournemouth may have done enough to win that game, to be fair. If they took their chances. I mean, Solanke had a chance in the first half, and it was great save by Nick Pope, lower down. And then the goal conceded was poor from our point. You can't concede a goal. That's the second time we've done that in a week. Cannot do that at all. But once scored the equalising goal, in my opinion, I think that's just paper under the cracks, in my opinion. I mean, look, we were poor, absolutely poor. And for the whole 90 minutes, there's no sip in the game. There's no pressing hardly. There's just no build-up play. It's a bit slow. And you know what? How Bournemouth scored that winning goal for Solanke, I think they would have deserved it. Real talk. They would have definitely deserved it. I have no complaints. But this just goes to show, if you don't beat teams like Bournemouth with the greatest respect, then we're not going to make top 4. We didn't beat Bournemouth. We didn't beat Crystal Palace. We didn't beat Nice at home. We did beat West Ham. And then at the bottom of the table. This is why we not get top 4 this season, if you count on that.
I'm a lot more optimistic than John. I think there's a little bit of hysteria up on Tyneside at the moment because we've drawn so many games recently. And we even had in some chats and stuff people calling for Eddie Howe's head, which is absolutely ridiculous.
Shocking.
Papering over the cracks, I think that's probably taking a bit too far. Like, we haven't played well in the last couple of games. Well, I think part of the problem we have is that we set such high standards, especially before the World Cup. As things have sort of caught up with us and we slipped down, our performances slipped down, everyone's thinking like the house is burning down when it's not. Part of the problem is strength and depth in the squad, because with a couple of players out, we've got a starting 11, that's about it. But I mean, not the house isn't burning down. We get Bruno back for the cup final. If we win the cup final, everyone's going to be hunky-dory and everything's going to be fine. And then we have a good shot at making the top 4. Because I don't know if you saw Spurs yesterday. They were awful.
Yeah, that was... they had a bit of an off game there. I don't think they even turned up to King Power Stadium yesterday. I mean, I looked at my phone at like 70 minutes. It was like 4-1, and then it went 3-1. It's been chalked off. Then I looked at it again, 85 minutes. Oh, and now it's 4-1. It could have been 5-1, but yeah, I saw some Spurs fans proper losing their temper and that, throwing their cushions around in the background of their green screens and that on YouTube. I remember when they did that when we were 2-0 up against them, but we made loads of changes that game, and that's what Tampa team we lost. But I mean, against Newcastle yesterday, I personally thought going into the game, looking at lineups, we've got another new signing starting because we had one start against Forest. Now we've got Semenyo playing, as well as Qatar, or that new player we've got in as well. And the Traore, the new Traore signing. I thought he was really good yesterday, although he got rung off 70th minute. I wasn't really expecting nothing yesterday, but to come away with a point against the top four, thinking, we could have got 3 points because of the Solanke back heel. I mean, credit to Kieran Trippier for not letting that go in, because all the home crowd and that, it's going in, it's gone over, check your watch. But I mean, I'd take a point against a solid Newcastle team, and to see Eddie Howe clap the fans, and the fans clapping back at Bournemouth with the banner saying "Welcome back, Eddie's." Great to see, especially. It's also good for both teams as well. I thought to get a draw as well, because say like Bournemouth beat Newcastle, then they'd have given him Eddie Howe stick and that. But it was a draw. I mean, fair result. And what did you guys also think?
I think the result was fair. As John said before, the corners are starting to become a problem for us, both defensively and attacking. We've not scored from a corner set piece for quite some time. So I think it's before the World Cup, because we started off when we had that really good run where we're scoring at least from a corner at least once a game, and that's slacked off. Defensively, Dan Burn has, I don't know if he's lost concentration, but it's twice that he's been at fault for not tracking the guy or not attacking the ball.
I mean, it was it's a set piece, wasn't it? From a corner, it was Billing whipped the ball in. It was blocked. Was it Trippier blocked it, and then Zamora put a good ball in the box, and then it went past the whole players in the box, and Senesi come running at the back post and just toe poked it in corner. And personally, we haven't scored that much from corners this season. I don't think we've scored from a corner this season. I think, yes, we have. We scored 2. One against you guys at home, and one against Villa back in August. So, I mean, I'm surprised you scored from a corner. But personally, do you think Newcastle could have dealt with the corner better and man-marked their players like you were saying about Dan Burn?
Yeah, because I don't excuse my ignorance for your players' names, but in the Dan Burn lost his man. There's a guy who was at the far, not the guy that scored, the guy on the towards the far post was running into the centre. He's passed on by Trippier, and Dan Burn just let him run. I think he got a flick to it, for the goal, and that's where it needs to be. I mean, Dan Burn has had his worst game for us yesterday. Though Pope's pass to him wasn't a great one, he just wasn't aware of the situation, and it almost cost us a second goal. But we need to work on the corners.
What did you think of Miguel Almiron's goal? I mean, it was a power shot. It looked like a powerful shot from was it Sean Longstaff?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, straight at Neto. I mean, obviously, I don't really expect Neto to catch it at full power. It's like trying to punch it away, but it fell perfectly to Miguel Almiron. And knowing how he's hit double figures this season, you're not going to expect him to miss that, are you?
No,
not at all.
I think a lot of praise has to go to Alan Saint-Maximin, who gets a lot of stick from our lot. Firstly, keeping the ball in.
Yeah, we played you guys at home in lockdown, and I think you will remember that result. We lost 4-1. I mean, that was at Saint-Maximin as well. He was just sitting the defence down and just doing all these skill moves, and it was throwing the defenders. Even Nathan Ake was a really good defender for Man City. He was doing all sorts, and he assisted like 3 goals that game, and he cuts down the byline very easily and just pass it straight across goal for a tap-in. I mean, he's a great player as a winger, and also for pace as well.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about that goal, all right, it kept it in play, which has started it. But last season, he doesn't make that pass to Sean Longstaff. He'll run in and try and score. Yeah. And about 3 or 4 weeks ago, Sean Longstaff hits that and it goes into Rosette. Longstaff's got the shooting boots on, and then I don't know if you noticed, but Miggy sort of ran round the ball to get it onto his left foot.
Yeah.
Because he uses his right foot for standing on, maybe. he just can't use his right foot, but when it's on his left, he's pretty deadly.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I mean, as soon as in that position he's about to shoot, I was like, this is 1-1, and I can't complain because our defence, we had more defenders on the left side of the pitch than I think we had one on the right. I mean, Neto can't really save. It wasn't a power shot from Almiron. It was just a placed into the corner, and I don't think any keeper can save that unless they're on top form. I mean, Neto went to try and save it with his foot, but what was I meant to say? He, what did you say? The ball went under his legs, but it went through the goal. So fair enough to Almiron for that goal as well. Who do you think played better overall in that game?
For me, the whole of the 90 minutes in Newcastle, I'd say Joe Linton. I thought he covered every head playing the pitch again. He tried to make things going. I mean, 10 recoveries as well on the tackle, etc. I think he's been outstanding. I think he's been absolutely fantastic first of the season, and that's the thing with Joe Linton, right? I think. At midfield now, it's got to be his place. He's got to play midfield now all the time because what he does, he gets engine midfield, he tackles. It's just cool. It's just a cool player. Do you know what I mean? And it hadn't been for him, protecting the back four, we would have lost that game. But hey ho.
Yeah. Craig, how you doing, mate? Just seeing you popped on the live.
Hello, guys. You all right?
Yeah.
I can't hear you very well.
Where are you in the pub?
I'll tell you what. I'm just going to quickly take you outside. 2 seconds. This is what Bracknell is like. Hang on. Hang on. Oh. It's an old manor house. And bloody hell, nearly fell over. How are you all doing? You all right, guys?
Yeah,
yeah, all good, all good. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm just in Bracknell, which is just by it's just out on the outskirts of Berkshire. So yeah, just having a beer. So yeah, sorry I couldn't be on earlier on.
That's all right, mate. Yeah, glad to have you pop in as well.
No, thank you so much for running this, Max. I'll tell you what, it's great.
You're welcome,
great.
Mate.
You've done so well.
You're welcome.
I'm dribbling. How good
I was
fun. So,
because I was at
I shall leave you to it.
Yes,
but
fine,
no,
mate.
thank you so much, guys, and I'll catch up with you soon. Up the Cherries and up Newcastle as well. I'll tell you what, I really do hope for that cup final. In is it 2 weeks' time? Is it or
yes, it is a fortnight today.
It's I can't hear very well, but is it a couple of weeks' time?
Yeah,
at Wembley. Yeah, I'll be watching.
Well, I tell you what, the South Coast is yours. The South Coast is yours. We're all going to be behind you. So, yeah, by all means, everybody in Bournemouth should be behind Newcastle United.
Yeah. I mean, stop Man United from winning more trophies, eh?
I better go because it's breaking up all the time. But yeah, thanks, guys, and I'll see you soon.
Okay.
All right, Craig.
All right, see you later, guys. Take care.
Bye, Craig.
See you. Bye.
In a bit, bye. Right. We're going to add another guest in. We're going to add Tony in. How you doing, mate?
Not too bad, thank you.
Hi, Tony.
Hi, Rolly. Hi, John. All right.
Yeah, good to you.
Yeah. What was your thoughts on the game then yesterday?
Basically, we were poor, mate. I'll not beat around the bush with this. I've been sitting backstage listening to these guys, and I mean, first half, we were shocking. You deserved your lead. Poor defending at the back stick yet again for the second game in a row. So that's not great. We need to sort that out. This is not our usual high standards of defending. So I wasn't happy with that. We got the equaliser, I thought, fortunately. Great play from ASM and St Maximin to stop that ball going out for a throw-in. Then to get up, run with the ball, pass it to Longstaff, who shot Neto parried, and as it landed in the feet of Almiron, he stroked it in the back of the net.
I mean, you don't miss one,
you could say it was probably a mistake from your goalkeeper, but then the shot was hit with some force as well. So we went 1-1 at the break, and I thought, right, okay, let's see us come out the second half.
Regroup together as a team and go give it you all.
I mean, we had some good patches in that second half, but we just didn't do enough to win that game. And then towards the end, Pope, I don't know what he was doing with that ball. He just kicked it. And then Dan Byrne, what on earth he was doing, I ain't got a clue, because he just stood there and wandered off. And just thankfully, Trippier was on the line to stop Solanke. The only thing I will say about Solanke is, why did he backheel it if he had hit it? If he turned and hit it, he would have scored probably. But thankfully, he did backheel it, and Trippier pushed that away. I mean, all in all, we didn't deserve a win. Yes, we got a point out of the game. Maybe we were lucky to get a point. It might be that might be an important point for Bournemouth at the end of the season. Who knows?
Given momentum,
you've got a big game next week, haven't you, against Wolves? So that's going to be difficult because they're on form at the moment.
Especially with a red card against Southampton, eh?
Yeah, exactly. And they were down to 10 men. They still won that game.
If we can beat Wolves away, I'm happy to see personally Man City as a game gone, because they're a really good team at the minute, but you haven't been getting the results they wanted. Yes, they won 3-1 against Villa this evening, but I mean, they beat they lost to Tottenham 1-0, who lost 4-1 to Leicester. So this league is just unpredictable, really. I mean, because the reason why I say it's unpredictable, because looking at our lineup compared to your guys yesterday, I was expecting at least a 2-0 or 3-1 loss. But you know, if it wasn't for Almiron, you guys would have been going back with 0 points. But fair enough, 1-0's a fair result at the end of the day. I mean, it'll give us momentum against Wolves to go on and get the 3 points, but who knows? Hey.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I mean, the thing is, like I say, I was just so disappointed by the performance, because our performance against West Ham wasn't the greatest either, and I could have quite accepted that one, because I would have looked at that and thought, right, okay, it's a hangover from the midweek game against Southampton in the Cup where we've got to the final. Yeah. But for it to be on this week, it was just like, hang on, what's going on here? And I mean, yes, naturally the Cup's going to be on the players' minds, a trip to Wembley, but you should forget that as a player. You forget that. Your bread and butter is your Premier League. And you should be thinking, right, let's get on with the Premier League, see where we end up, and then at the end of that, then you go to the Cup final. But the moment the form we're in, we're going into that Cup final in shocking form, where Man United are going into that with excellent form. And if we play like that yesterday against Man United, forget winning the Cup. We won't be bringing that Cup home, that's for sure. So we need to make sure we ship up and shape up very quickly indeed. And that starts against Liverpool next Saturday. We need to go out there and make a statement and go and beat Liverpool. And not just beat them by 1 or 2, maybe beat them 3-0. That'll send a statement through to everybody that, oh, hang on, Newcastle are back. And then we can take that momentum in the Cup final, because Man United have got to play Leicester. And then 3 days before the Cup final, they play a hard game against Barcelona at Old Trafford. Now, depending how that game's gone at the Nou Camp the week before, this could be a game that goes all the way through to extra time. So Man U players are going to be tired by the time they come round to the Cup game, because they haven't got a lot of time to prepare for the Cup match.
Yeah, that's a disadvantage for them. But, I mean, from watching it yesterday, looking at the injuries that Newcastle have got got was it two of your main players that come off? I mean, I saw Chris Willock was suffering.
Joe Willock.
And Joe Willock. Sorry, I'm thinking of bloody QPR player.
His brother.
There's two of them, yeah. But and just Maxman as well come off with an injury.
He had a knock.
You can just say that's just bloody brilliant, isn't it? Coming into a FA Cup final, two of your main players going out injured, and I mean, I don't know personally myself. You'll know more than me, but do you reckon they'll be back for the cup final, or do you reckon it'll be a miss?
Willock's probably is the most doubtful because it's a hamstring. It depends on how bad it is whether he'll make the cup final. It's said that Maxi had a knock and Almiron's arm got trodden on, so he's not supposed to use his hands anyway, so he might be able to play with a cast or something on it.
Yeah.
But it looks more like the wrist area rather than the arm itself.
Yeah, so it's the sort of thing that if he would be able to play with a cast on it, if needed. The Willocks are worried, but on the plus side, Bruno Guimaraes will be back for the cup final, and we just seen how much we miss him when he's not playing, because he sort of dictates everything. So that's good to get him back. Hopefully ASM isn't too bad, and will be available for the cup final. Because if Willock's injured, he'll get to play. He'll start.
Yeah.
With Anthony Gordon's cup tie.
Yeah, sorry about that. You got blast in the background. Very, very unpleasant. We read some of the comments out, if that's all right.
Yeah, sure.
I just feel Town Fan TV. Yeah, how's it going? We've got. You said, "What I've got to say, you played very well in this game, and the winner of Newcastle equalised before half time." No, it didn't help, but it was fortunate for you guys. But I mean, you're unfortunate at the end of the day to go back with a point because you of course you wanted all three, because then that would definitely 2 points is quite a lot in this league. I mean, a point or 3 points is a massive difference because it's so tight in this league at the minute. I hope they do as well, but you never know. Where's all the Bournemouth fans? I don't know. I'm the only one here. I'm not in the we were lucky to get a draw. Dan Burns stopped playing. It gave them a chance. Lucky it was cleared off the line. I mean, if Trippier went on that line, you'd be screwed.
Yeah.
But, Dan Burn does look a bit shaky. What do you guys think of that?
Well, what I can't understand is we've got Jamal Lewis, who is a natural left back, sitting on the bench. Now, yesterday, I would have been quite happy if we'd withdrawn Dan Burn for the last 20 minutes and give Lewis a bit of a go.
Yeah.
At least Lewis is more of a left back. Yes, Target's out injured at the moment, so he's not around. But
I mean,
Dan Burn has played well in that position, to be fair. Just, I think, yesterday he was having one of his off days and he had a really poor display yesterday.
Okay.
But what I did want to see was, and I would have thought may have helped us, and we may have actually won that game as well, if, say, for the last 20 minutes, we'd brought one of your ex-players on, Matt Ritchie. Now, if Matt Ritchie had come on, his delivery is very good still.
Oh,
and he's a very good crosser of the ball. And one of them corners, who knows, could have come over, could have landed on somebody's head and been in the back of the net, because Trippier's deliveries haven't been great, to be fair. But Matt Ritchie would have provided something different. But he would have put a great delivery in the box, because normally Matt Ritchie is pretty spot on. And I know he's getting up to 33 now, but I tell you what, he's been a fantastic servant at Newcastle United. I think we got him for a bargain of £12 million, in all honesty, and for him to come to the Championship with us was a brave move, and he could have gone to West Ham. But all in all, he could have made a little difference yesterday. He might not have made the difference, but he could well have done. And I just wish he'd been given the chance to come on. I know some fans would say, but he can't play now a pressing and intensity game. I don't care if he can't play in that game, but at least he can cross the ball. That's what I'm crying out for. Somebody decent who can cross the ball into that box. And Matt Ritchie's got great delivery.
Okay, the only thing I'd say about that, with 20 minutes gone, who would you take off? Because obviously Maxi and Almiron had gone off injured. You lost Willock, so 3 subs have already come on. Who do you take off for him to come on?
That's the thing, though. That's
we
the
haven't
thing.
Got, you haven't got quality. You haven't got quality on the bench, though. That's the thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but instead of bringing Murphy on, we could have brought Ritchie on instead of Murphy.
Maybe.
You could have subbed Murphy back off and put Ritchie on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Murphy's not good enough. Murphy's not good enough. He needs to be sold in the summer. Simple as. But the problem is nobody wants him because he's on high wages. That's the problem. And a long contract because of a stupid owner that we had at the football club.
Yeah, I agree that it's not good enough for where I want to go, but I don't think he's going in the summer because, as I keep saying on your channel and John's channel, there are other players we need to replace before we get to Murphy.
That is the thing, though. That's the thing. I mean, Eddie must have brought Jacob Murphy on about 6, 7, 8 times. Right? He ain't good enough. That's the thing. And I'm not once, guys, see Jacob Murphy working there for wow. Take on a player. That's his Moss's bread and butter. Taking on players and putting a brilliant cross through as well. I mean, a couple of years ago, that guy can cross a ball. He can cross a ball. He can pinpoint across, right? That's going to shock a lot of people. I'm seeing he can pin across when great. But since then, he has been absolutely shocking. And Tony is right. The reason he's still with us is on big wages. No one ever mentioned him. I looked at January window. How many clubs I looked upon Jacob Murphy? Not one. Not one. And that's why we're lumbered with him. His contract ends in 2026, 27. I tell you what can you do, guys? What can you do when you got someone's on 60k a week? What can you do? He's not going to be in a hurry to leave the club, is he? Let's be real. Yeah.
I apologise for that. We're turning it into the Newcastle United podcast rather than the Bournemouth one.
That's all right. That's fine. Yeah.
But just on John's point there about Jacob Murphy, I don't think the club were looking to move him on in January. Eddie obviously sees something in him because when Maxi was injured, he played him instead of him. He always brings him on, so he must trust him to do stuff. Whether we like the player or not, Eddie seems to like him. So I think he'll be with us for next season at least.
Problem is we've got nobody else in the team, and the problem is now we don't know what the problem with Callum Wilson is. It was some sort of hamstring issue.
We don't know
how bad it is. We don't know. Now this is the problem. So we've got Alexander Isak as the only fit striker because Chris Wood's on loan at Forest with a no recall notice. So we now have to delve into the under-23s, and Isaac Westendorf is now going to have to step up to the bench. Now, you're going to have to put pressure on a young kid of 19 years of age, who, in the under-23s, he's a fantastic striker, don't get me wrong. But that lad to come on and do it in the Premier League or in a cup final, you're asking a bit much there. And this is another point. I think the January window, we did not do enough as a club. We could have had the chance to get Marcus Thuram from Mönchengladbach for 8 million. We didn't bother. We didn't bother replacing Shelby. We let him go to Forest. That's a mistake now, and now that's starting to backfire. And maybe our owners are looking at this now and thinking, oh, hang on, did we go shopping too late in the window? The thing is, yes, you did. That is the problem.
And also as well, guys, right? That they're only new coming into the football club, right? So they're gonna learn a lot of things, like, do you know what I mean? They get a lot of things good, and they get a lot of things bad. Yeah. So they're gonna give them some grace. Do you know what I mean? They're gonna give them some grace because at the end of the day, right? Because they're new to it, they need to work out what goes on. They'll learn on the job. They'll learn from it. Do you know what I mean? But I hope in the summer, right, we have got to get in early. We got to get our targets in early before pre-season. We got to get, if that means getting 5 players in before pre-season, do it, because I want a pre-season with the new players coming in. so they can get used to the city, how the way we play, how Eddie plays the game. Get the players in before pre-season.
I think with respect to the club on the January window, I think John Joe Selvey was one that they hadn't planned, and the deal was a good one. One thing we do know about the owners is they're not going to panic buy, and they only get the players that they want. Now, with little time and Chelsea playing silly buggers, we weren't able to get in a replacement for John Joe. Chris Wood, it leaves us a striker light, but from what I understand of the deal, it's a masterpiece of business getting Chris Wood in, because I don't know how much the loan fee is, but if the obligation to buy is 15 million, he came to keep us up. We paid over the odds, and we're getting most of that money back because it's not reliant on Forest actually staying up. It's on a number of games that he plays. So that was good. And Shelby was a difficult one because if he played 2 more games for us, it would automatically trigger a 1-year extension on his contract. And obviously Forest is giving him 2.5 years, and his age and his stage of the career, he wants to be playing, which he probably wouldn't do next season. And getting a 2.5-year contract gives him some more security. So I can understand them reluctantly letting him go. It's just getting the replacements that they wanted, we couldn't get in. And that's because it came so late in the window. If it come maybe a week or so earlier, they might have had time to get who they wanted in. But I think at the end of the day, they didn't want to do much in this window because it's a notoriously difficult window, the January one. And they're keeping their powder dry for the summer.
Yeah, got a comment here about Dan Burn as well as a defender. When Newcastle get corners, would you say he's the main man to go up for it because he's like 6'8", and the other defenders that are smaller just sit back in case the other team get on the counter?
And we've got a lot of big centre halves because Botman's is about 6'4",
6'4",
Scher's about 6'3", and then you've got other bodies in there. Joe Linton's about 6'2", Longstaff's over 6 foot. We've got a lot of height. He's like 6'4".
Yeah. I mean,
so we should be doing better at corners than we are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
With all that height and physicality. But something's just not ticking.
Comment here as well. You got Man U only 5 points behind Arsenal. Now Rashford's in crazy form. Yeah.
I tell you what, they're in the conversation now. They're definitely in the conversation, guys. And the title of this, definitely.
Another one here. We've got you. I can't read my life. You would be right. Centre back is natural position. He only went left back due to Target being injured. I suppose so.
I mean, I said to John back in August, and John looked at me strange and said, "No. This was after the season finished, and this was during the period of the pre-season. Well, before the pre-season, and we had a transfer show on John's channel, and I said, do you know who I would like in? And a lot of people slated me for it and said, no, absolutely not. But I'm now right about it, and I said to John, I said, as a club, if he's worth 60 million, go and get a Marcus Rashford, because he was having bad times at Man United because they had that Ralph Rangnick, who, to be honest, let's be honest, he upset a lot of players, and I think in that dressing room. And I said to John, let's get him in. I said, he'd be worth a punt at 60 million. John was like, I don't want Rashford anywhere near our club. He's bad news. And a lot of fans were on the comments, oh, no, we don't want Rashford, don't want him. Tell you what, watching the way he's playing now, if he was playing under Eddie Howe, he would be banging the goals in for fun like that. And I said to John the other day, I says, I bet you now take back your comments when I said to you, I think we should be buying Rashford in the summer, and you said no to me. Isn't that right, John?
I mean, you can afford his wages, can't you?
Yeah.
The richest club in the world, I take it.
Well, we've got the richest owners, but we are not the richest club in the world yet. Not until
we start in the Premier League.
richest owner. We've got the richest owners in the world. We're still not even the richest club in the Premier League, because the only time we'll become the richest club is when we're generating our own money and the club is running at its maximum. But until then, we've got this is where people get confused. We got the richest owners in the world, but we are not the richest club yet. But we will be there one day. We just got to bring a lot of these different sponsorships in. And once we start getting these in and getting the money to generate, we will eventually become the richest club in the world.
Yeah, because what I was going to say was, you continue to play good football like this, how you are at the minute, not saying from yesterday's game, but if you carry on playing really well and where you are in the league, I reckon you could you play like this or even better next season. I reckon you'll make Champions League this season. If you play a bit better next season, I reckon you could challenge for the title. That could be mad me saying that, but you got the summer window coming up, haven't we? Because the one's just closed last month. So, personally, if you make some more transfers and that, like you guys were saying, I reckon you could go and win it next year. Because look at Leicester; they come from Championship next season and win the Premier League. Weird.
Yeah, I mean, with Leicester, they come up, then they struggled for a bit. They then sacked Nigel Pearson, and I think there was something like, they didn't. They kept Nigel Pearson. Sorry, they were about 9 points adrift in the relegation zone from safety. Nigel Pearson kept them up and he got sacked at the end of the season after they stayed up. They brought Ranieri in. That season after, from avoiding relegation, they went and won the Premier League. And that was an amazing story. And it was great to see a team like Leicester go on and win the Premier League. But I agree with you. We could be, I think we'll be very busy this summer. And I agree with what you're saying, that next season we could challenge for that title. We could do. And it all depends. But as long as we bring the right players in, the right balance, and the team's
and
right.
No panic buying as well. Like
we won't panic buy. We're not at Chelsea. The amount of money Chelsea spent, especially at 107 million on Enzo Fernandez, as good a player he is, I really hope they do not make a European place this season, because I want to sit back and I want to see how all them players are going to react when there is no European football at Stamford Bridge next season. I want to see how they react. I want to see how many transfer requests go in, because I'll tell you now, there'll be a lot in. Mudryk will not want to stay. Badia Shield won't want to stay. Enzo Fernandez won't want to stay.
Felix won't want to stay.
No, well, he's on loan till the end of the season. So
he's on loan, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, there's no obligation, so he's got to go back to Atletico, so they're going to lose him regardless. But I would like to see these players, see how they get on next season.
They were poor,
I'll tell you now, they'll not get 107 million back for Fernandez now.
Yeah, looking back at the comments, we've conceded 3 at the back post from corners. Yeah.
Yeah.
AFC Bournemouth, hello. Stephen Dyer, Cherries, Exalt, living in Newcastle. Oh, okay.
Can I just say that we've just had Martin Hardy, who's a journalist, he's put on Twitter. Apparently, this has just come on now. Newcastle will wear their traditional black and white stripes in the Carabao Cup final. So we are wearing our home shirt in the Cup final.
Excellent.
Yeah, because what I was going to say was, I was looking at this Newcastle fans live, and he said, "Oh, we're bloody cursed in the white kit. We never win in that kit." And I'm like, yeah, you've had 3 draws all season, right? And do you know what the funniest thing is? 1 against these and 2 home and away. 1-1, same score as well. 1-1. Yeah. And the same scoreline, Bournemouth going 1-0 up and then ending in a 1-0 draw. Yeah,
I did say on a preview on John's channel at the time, I did say when we were playing you in the home leg at St James's Park, I said, and I think Craig was on at the time as well, and I said, look, the thing is, I says, the one thing we don't want to do is give Philip Billing any space whatsoever. Do not give that guy space. Give him space, and that ball will go in the back of the net. What did we do match day? Gave him the space, and he scores. And I said to John,
when we've done the review,
and I said to John when we done the review, I said, what did I say to you, John? Giving them the space and he'll score, and he's done exactly that.
Exactly.
Because I've watched Philip Billing a lot when he played for Huddersfield in the Premier League, and the thing is, every time you give him space, that ball's going somewhere in the back of the net.
Personally, I reckon you guys this season, you carry on playing your great football. Top four, not a problem. What do you guys think? Do you reckon you'll be playing Champions League football next season?
Well, before the season started, and we done a preview show on John's channel, and it's still there, so people can go and have a look if they don't believe me. Now, we done a preview, and we done a prediction, and John says, "What's your predictions?" So my prediction was, we'll win the Carabao Cup. So we're in the final. I said we'll finish 7th in the Premier League and qualify for the Europa Conference League. Sorry, that's a mouthful, isn't it? Right? So I said we'd finish 7th for that. And then I also said we would get the semi-finals of the FA Cup. Well, that's gone in well and truly because we went out in the third round to League One opposition again. Lightning struck twice, unfortunately, in that.
Well, we lost 4 for Burnley, so it don't really matter.
Yeah. Yeah, but to lose to League One twice in a row, it's like, but so we got to the Carabao Cup final, which I'm on course for that to happen. Now, if we didn't finish in the top 4 and we finished 7th, would I be disappointed? No, I wouldn't. And now a lot of people might look and think, well, why won't you be disappointed? The reason is because when I said before the start of the season, before a ball was kicked, that I would be happy if we finished 7th. So if we finish 7th, I won't be disappointed because that would be where I said we would finish. If we finish top 4, I'll be ecstatic like every other fan. I'll be absolutely over the moon. I've been a fan since 1982. I was there for Keegan's debut. I've seen Keegan leaving the helicopter. I've seen all the muck that we went through in the 80s. And John will understand that as well. I mean,
so do I.
and Rolly as well. I keep thinking Rolly's a bit younger, but he's older than me. Sorry.
I started supporting in 77.
There we go. Old man. So anyway. But we saw in the 80s when we saw Gaza, Waddle, Beardsley, all the top players sold through Stan Seymour and Gordon McKeague. Now the thing is, if we finish in the top 4 this season, yes, be ecstatic. But I'm still keeping things real. I'll still be happy even if we finish as low as 7th. Because that's success in my eyes. 12 months ago, we were seriously in trouble staying in the Premier League. Now, we stayed up in that Premier League. We're the only team that's done it. Lost the first 14 games and then stayed up. Now, we've done that. But to think from 12 months ago, if somebody had said to me 12 months ago, or next season, you'll be in the top 4 of the Premier League by this time, I would have laughed at them. I would have said, are you sure what you're smoking or what you're drinking? Because I'll have a bucket full if you don't mind. Now, but we are in the top 4 at the moment. And we're there because we've played good football this season. And that's great. But like I say, if we didn't end up in the top 4 and we finished 7th, I would not have a problem with that. Because at the end of the day, we're in the top 7. We've got European football no matter what. So that is what my answer to that is. And sorry for the long-winded answer.
That's fine. If you didn't get 4th, it's not really expected as well because the pressure can get to teams and you can slip down the table a few places. I mean, the bookies had us to be like in 20th position, but I mean we're nearly that. We are down there, but the amount of VAR calls we've had against us is a joke. Like conceded 7 penalties from either handballs or fouls, which have been soft, but one of them was against Newcastle when Isaac slotted it away. That was the handball because he purposely did block it. But I mean, for the others like Forest and that, like when we come back 3-2, that was another VAR call as well. But personally, as you guys are Newcastle fans, where do you think Bournemouth have brought in 6 new signings? Where do you think they could finish this season realistically?
It's a difficult one. The thing that you've got going in your favour is it's so tight at the bottom. Southampton are starting to be cut adrift at the moment. I think they're going to go down. But I think that you're looking at there's going to be any two from about 5 or 6 clubs. There's yourselves, there's Wolves, there's Leeds, who I think are in trouble. West Ham aren't out of it, but I think they will get out of it. Forest aren't out of it, but I think they'll do. I think their home form will keep them going. But you still got, so as you said before, your game against Wolves is critical. Are you home? Are you at Molineux or at
Molineux?
We're at Molineux, but do you think it could go down to the wire again?
Yeah, I think it will.
You reckon it'll go down to the last game of the season?
Yeah, because it's so tight down there. You're 1 point from safety, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bournemouth 1 point from safety.
Well, we're in the relegation zone. We're in 19th with 18 points.
Yeah, so you're 1 point outside. So you're in touch. The main thing is you don't get cut adrift.
Yeah.
And then it's a case of trying to beat the teams around you when you play them, and then picking up the odd point if you can against teams at the top, like you did on Saturday. How many points have you got?
18, because like
18.
I said,
so in reality, you need another
38. We need 38 points minimum.
So well, 37 is the average. So you're 37. Talking about another 19 points.
Yeah, we're
so you're talking about 6 wins and a couple of draws.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
mean, you look at the Premier League table. I mean, Bournemouth are underneath Everton on goal difference. They've got double the goals against them what Everton have now.
Missed Everton out.
I mean, you've got Leeds, which is on 19 points, and then you got West Ham who are on 20 points. I mean, Southampton, for them to get out of that relegation zone, they've got to win 2 games because they're 4 points adrift. So they've got to win 2 games to get out of that drop zone. Now, Southampton, it's looking bleak for them. I do think they're going down. I think Everton will follow them, and I hope they bloody well do, because it's about time. It's about time Everton went down. And I actually think Leeds will go down, and I think Bournemouth will stay up. The games you've got to make sure, though, is Bournemouth as a club. When you've got them games which are 6-pointers, you must make sure you win them games, because they're not the bread and butter games. Those are your important games. So when you come up the likes against your Leeds Uniteds, your West Hams, your Southamptons, your Evertons, you've got to make sure. But you've got to win those games. I think Forest will stay up. They've got enough now. I think they'll stay up.
Yeah, so
that home form is brilliant there. Liverpool's been there and lost, and Chelsea got a draw there, and so they're not a bad team. But I think Bournemouth could get out of this, and I really do hope Bournemouth do, because they're a nice club, nice set of fans as well. And like I say, Everton's got a game in hand. That's on tomorrow night. Now, what you're hoping for is Liverpool beat Everton, or Everton get at least just a draw, and that just keeps it interesting, because if Everton get a win, they then go 3 points ahead of you. But but I can't see Everton beating Liverpool, to be fair. Unless
the only thing I'd say about the game, the Liverpool Everton game tomorrow, is why can't both teams lose? Because I've got mixed feelings, because I want Liverpool to get thumped so they're not in any form when they come up to St James's Park, but I also want Everton to get thumped because I want them to go down. But I really want Everton to go down. It's a horrible club. It's horrible supporters. You see the smile on Anthony Gordon's face now. He's got away from those skit rats.
We've got to go back to Goodison, haven't we? So
chasing him down the road.
I remember when Trippier and Gordon had a bit of a bust up. It was on social media. I think Callum Wilson posted it, and now look at them. They're mates. So
I mean, when Gordon signed, the club obviously had videos that they put out of him doing going around meeting everybody. When he meets Trippier, says, "Oh, do you want to fight again?" He said, "Oh, it's okay." She said, "It's okay." And then he says to Fabian Schär, "So at least I've got someone to protect me now." And Fabian says, "You've got to earn it."
Yeah.
So he seems to have fitted in really well with the guys, and it must be a relief to get away from that club that he was at.
Yeah. All
right, we're gonna. I'm gonna bring.
Just probably got to say my feature's gonna go down in a minute, like, because I've been out of it in a minute.
Come on, John.
You know what I mean? I'm just observing. That's fine. I mean,
who do you think's gonna go down then?
I'll be for me. I think Southampton will go because I think that club's a mess in a minute. Like, okay, they spend a lot of money, but I think they left it too late. So he'd be done. For me, I think I think you'll just stay up. I think you'll just stay up because I think that you bought some players on you. Fix up, I think 17 for you. I think Forest to stay up. I think Wolves has improved. I think they stay. I don't think Palace is out of it yet, but for me,
can you see Everton going down?
Everton, it'd be nice, will it? It'd be nice. But I think Sean Dyche is going to keep them up. There's something back in my mind. I think Sean Dyche is going to keep them up.
I mean, the thing is with Everton is they're investing on buying a new stadium, right? And if they go down, they're buggered financially.
Exactly. And
how they got away with their financial fair play last season, I don't know.
I mean, look at Man City. They're saying it's going to take up to another 4 years yet. Look, they'll get out of it like Chelsea did as well. They'll get out of it. They won't get stripped titles or nothing, guaranteed. You could go down the bookies down the road and put bet on them getting out of that as well.
Yeah.
So who's your three, John?
Southampton. I tell you what, though, I'm fearful for Leeds, by the way. I mean, unless they start scoring goals and start winning games, right, I'll be amazed if they get relegated again. And I've got a funny feeling it's going to come down to, I think, Everton stay. It's going to be tough. I think Bournemouth is still up as well. I think it all comes down to Bournemouth's home games.
Yeah. We're going to bring someone else in. Stefan, sorry to keep you waiting, mate. How's it been?
John's sitting on the fence.
I'll think on it.
Hello, boys. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks.
Yeah, not bad.
Why man? Why I?
I've
been up here. I live up here. I've been up here 30 years. I actually came up 1990 when we played you in the FA Cup. The first game was fogged off, and the second game I was ill in bed and missed it. But we beat you in the FA Cup, I think.
I remember 3-1. I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. I think it went to penalties. If I remember.
Yeah,
anyway, it's great up here though. The football is second to none to what I was used to down south. I mean, the passion and the fans, even in the dark days with Ashley and Allardyce and Dalglish and those, it's phenomenal up here now. The town's got a lift. The production's gone up in every factory, every office. It's just brilliant, and I'm really pleased. I used to be a season ticket, but I gave it up because I felt so guilty going to the match, being an outsider. And that was when I think the ground only held about 35,000 then. John Hall. I was in the John Hall stand. And the guy next to me, he's been a season ticket holder for about 23 years then. And he turned around to me when we were 12 points ahead and said, if we don't win the league now, we never will. But I think in about 3 or 4 years' time, I think you will win the league. Well, I think that's definitely a possibility. Whether you get into the top 4 this season, a little bit doubtful. But I think you do well in the Carabao Cup. I hope we win that one. I say we because I've got the Geordie passport and everything. But going back to yesterday's match, I really felt it was a good Bournemouth performance. I thought our midfield was exceptional. Didn't let you rest. Lerma was outstanding. Not the great technical player, but he was running up and down, getting his foot in.
End to end.
Yeah, end to end. Yeah. He's coming to the end of his contract at the end of the season, whether or not he stays. But we're getting back to what Bournemouth is, when Eddie was there and Sean O'Driscoll and Mel Machin back in those days. We've always played good football.
Yeah, they gave him a standard ovation, didn't they, at the end of the game? Yeah,
it's brilliant. And a tear in the eye and all that. But I'm optimistic that we can stay up. It's going to be tight.
Yeah, I reckon it'll go to the last. Do you reckon it'll go to the last game?
It will.
Hope not. I think so.
I
think Southampton will go down in the next 3 or 4 games, hopefully.
Yeah, lockdown, definitely.
We want
meant to say beat Everton 3-1.
Yeah, we want Leeds to go down. Never really got on with them, and when they came down in our backyard on the bank holiday, bank holiday.
Like car wing mirrors off and smashing cars up. They lost.
And maybe Everton. Maybe Everton.
Yeah, smash them. We did the double over.
But there's always one team that goes 3-4, and I'm not sure which one that would be yet. I mean, there's always a team that starts dropping in. So
we got.
Southampton.
I think that could be Crystal Palace.
Another comment in here.
It could be Palace. Yeah.
Is Rashford carrying Man U? I'll leave that to you guys. What do you think?
Yes, to a certain extent.
I mean, you could do with him getting injured in the cup game, couldn't you? And then they've got
it's got 3 more games.
Injured. Yeah, he has. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, looking at your fixtures at Bournemouth, right? I mean, obviously this month, you've got Wolves and then Manchester City. Now, March, you've got Arsenal away on the 4th. You've got Liverpool at home on the 11th. And then you've got Villa away on the 18th of March. That's a bit of a tough March. April doesn't get easier. You've got Fulham at home, Leicester away, Tottenham away. But Tottenham are not a great side. You could turn them over quite easily. And then in May, you've got Chelsea at home, Palace away, and Man United at home on the last day of the season. So it's not an easy run-in, is it?
No, Chelsea, we've always had we've beaten them at Stamford Bridge before. Chelsea seem to be one of our better rivals. We seem to pick up points with them. Like I said, it's a lot. I'm optimistic. I still, Gary Neal's still learning the job, and if we do go down to the Championship, I like him to stay, regroup. We've got a good financial backing now, which we've never had before. So,
we've always got.
I would be disappointed if we go down
as well. We can go back to that. I mean, we've got rich owners that have just come in. You've got Michael Jordan and Bill Foley as well. But yeah,
I just think we need. If we go down, we just need to reset. And they're talking about the club is a bit of a milestone because we don't own the ground or anything like that. So if we can get that sorted out and get the training ground, which is being developed as we speak. So it'd be a glitch, but depending on what the players' contracts are that we've signed, and are they going to stay if we go down to the Championship? But it's looking rosy. I mean, I remember going Winter Gardens with buckets, and we've got to sell players just to pay the bill. So it's really good. The last 10 years has been great to be in a Bournemouth fan because we've had some good backing. With Eddie Mitchell, he put his money in, and Maximin came in and left it, and they've all left us in a better place.
I mean,
we're in the Championship. It's not all doom and gloom if we go down.
In the dark days, weren't you locked out the stadium as well, weren't you, in the dark days?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, all those. But now we've got, this Foley, he's doing quite well in Europe. He's buying clubs. So that'd be interesting to see how the players come through and transfers and loans and things like that. So, yeah, I just think, and, going in hindsight, 2 or 3 years in the Championship and we got to the Premiership, which we'll always be grateful for, but maybe we went up too quick. Maybe we didn't, we hadn't played in the Championship for a number of years. We needed to sort of take stock there, but everything's been rush.
Yeah, personally, like 13 years ago, I mean, it was all over news. We had the Save the Cherries thing because
exactly.
We were -17. We've come from non-league to League Two, and to get from there to the Premier League is phenomenal because there's been teams that have been stuck in League 1, 2, and the Championship for like decades.
Yeah, you don't want to do a Pompey or a Sunderland or anything.
No, I mean, we relegated Sunderland with that King goal.
I think. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah, we relegated Sunderland. What I was meant to say, but going from League 2 to the Premier League is a massive step up. I mean, you're going to have really hard fixtures playing with like the best teams in the world and one of the top most watched leagues in the world. Got another comment coming there saying bailiffs, we're coming in when Howe was taking training.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, with the Sunderland thing, you was relegated them from the Premier League, and their ex-striker Darren Bent relegated them from the Championship to League One when he scored the winner for Burton Albion at the Stadium at Blight.
I mean, look at Pickford. He come from Sunderland. Now he's England's somehow #1 goalkeeper. And then you've got Jermaine Defoe as well, another player.
T-Rex.
And Jermaine Defoe, who used to play for Bournemouth, he stayed in the Hilton Hotel down in Bournemouth because where it was a straight move, he had no house and that. So the club paid for him to stay in the hotel to found a house down Bournemouth and that. And I remember he was sponsoring that poor kid that died of cancer. That was really bad, you know. Because when I was watching his press conference, he found it really hard and that because they were asking him questions about how he's sponsoring.
Bradley Lowry, wasn't it?
Yeah, that Paul Bradley kid that was battling cancer but couldn't make it at the end of the day. I mean, Defoe's was probably I mean, I don't know if Defoe's got any kids or anything, but he loved that kid so much, and he always went out on the train. Was mascot.
Yeah, he did well for us when he was on. He was on loan for us, though, wasn't he, for the season or something?
He was on loan,
22 goals or something. Yeah, brilliant.
I don't think Howe played him that much. I think that's why he went Rangers in the end. But yeah.
No, but it's looking good for the Geordies. I must admit, you know, Eddie will get you sorted out. Like you said, a few decent signings in the summer. Like us, we'll be tinkering around in the summer, whatever league we're in.
If you Newcastle fans, right, didn't have Eddie Howe in charge, do you think you'd be somewhere different in the league right now?
Yes.
Where do you reckon you guys would be in the league right now if you did not have Eddie Howe?
Down with us.
No, maybe between 7th and 10th.
7th and 10th. Yeah, I mean, Eddie Howe, everyone's asking him to be the New England manager, but he doesn't want to do it at the minute. I mean, he can't be manager of a club and country, can he?
I mean, to be fair, I mean, PIF are majority shareholders from Saudi Arabia. They wanted Eddie Howe. They wanted Eddie Howe as manager, right? Now, Amanda and her husband Mirdad and Jamie Rubin wanted Unai Emery. So Unai Emery was interviewed for the job, and it was nailed on he was going to get the job. Eddie Howe was interviewed for the job, and he said this in an interview, Eddie Howe, and if you've seen it, you've probably heard it. But he said, I was interviewed, he says, but I knew they were getting Unai Emery. And he says, so I thought, well, I'm not even in the running for this job now, so I'll wait till another job comes up. And but Unai Emery, because it got leaked out, Villarreal gave him a new contract when he had just won a Champions League game. So he got that new contract, and that put him out. That put a stop to him coming to us.
Yeah.
And then it was like, then when it got the Brighton game, Eddie Howe showed up, and he was at the Brighton game, and everybody knew then that he was going to come in as a new manager. And Eddie Howe himself, he said, when it came out, he says, because he said to his wife, he said, look, I ain't got this job. He says, I've done my best on Zoom, doing my presentation. He said, I've given my best. He says, I've given it to a guy from Spain, Unai Emery. He's going to get the job. And Eddie says, to be fair, he's decorated with European trophies, so he's probably the better man, more qualified than what I am. He says, then I got the call, by the way, we would like you to become the Newcastle United manager because Unai Emery isn't coming. And Eddie Howe straight away, and he said, look, he said, I'll not say the word, but he says, I went, what am I going to do now? I've got the job. I'm going to have to get in there now. But look what he's done to us. And I was so pleased your fans gave him that reception, because I did say to Craig, I think he'll get that reception. And you know what? Well done. I applaud your fans, because well done for that reception. Fantastic. Yeah. That guy done a hell of a lot for that club. He got you from League 2 when you were struggling. You were in minus points. You were close to going to non-league football. He kept you in that division, but then got you out of that division, got you into League 1, got you out of that. Championship. Premier League, kept you in the Premier League for 5 years on limited budgets. And I'll tell you what, he done very, very well for your club. And that was probably the best thing that ever happened when you gave him that stand ovation yesterday, because he thoroughly deserved that. And as Craig rightly says, he's known as God in your country, in your part of the world. And Absolutely so. And do you know what? The good thing about Eddie Howe as well, is when he left management, he didn't do what other managers do when they sit on the backstage, probably watching Sky Sports News all day or whatever they're doing. He actually said, "No, I want to be a better manager than I am now. I want to make myself better. How can I do that? Oh, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to pop on a plane to Italy, go to Juventus. I'm going to stand on the training ground with Maurizio Sarri and see how he does coaching.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go to Spain and go to Atletico Madrid and see what Simeone does. Then I'm going to Liverpool and I'm going to stand with Klopp and see what Klopp does." And he's learned from them three great managers. But the one thing we have learned more under Eddie Howe is he's more like Simeone is. Very, very shithousery. And the way we play, the way we're so defensively set up. And not only that, Eddie Howe has now got a swagger to him when he's talking. Now, he never used to have that sort of swagger when he was at Bournemouth, but now he seems to have that bit more character to him. And not in an arrogant way, but in a great way. But it's the Simeone way. If you watch any of his press conferences, you'll see it in him. And do you know what? I think it's brilliant. And I think well done for him to actually go out and about and go and learn his trade and make himself a better manager, because I think he has made himself a better manager. You Bournemouth guys, I don't know if you agree with what I've said there.
Yeah, there's a good podcast he does with Jake Humphreys a few months ago.
Yes,
I've seen that.
And that was a really good insight to what he does. And but he was a great player for us as well. Unfortunately, he got injured at Portsmouth and done his knee in. But he was always a good player, good manager, very thorough. His training, it says on this podcast, his training sessions are the most important thing during the week. I mean, he will bring the players on and
you guys couldn't have asked for a better manager than Eddie Howe, really, could you? Because on the sidelines yesterday, he was noting down he was showing it on Sky, like when the game was live. He was noting everything down, errors, the pros and cons, advantages and disadvantages. I mean, he don't just sit there and sit on his phone. He's constantly writing things down, what needs to be changed or what needs to happen next. I mean, he's on his game. He's not one of them relaxed managers. He gives the players stick and that when they're not performing at their best. And I mean, he's a great manager for you guys. But personally, if he was still at Bournemouth right now, and he provided the magic like what he's done at Newcastle, and he still did it at Bournemouth, I reckon we could challenge for a top 10 finish. Personally, do you agree?
Yeah, I think he could have. Yeah, I mean, it's not just Howe as well, it's his trusted lieutenant as well, Jason Tyndall, who obviously you know very well because he was a manager for you as well. But
yeah, good
Jason
player.
Jason Tyndall is his second pair of eyes, so there might be things that Eddie Howe's not seen, but Jason Tyndall has, and you'll see, I've seen that, and Eddie will write that down. And that's great to see that, because it's not often that you see the manager and assistant manager in the technical box at the same time through the whole game. And I mean, John, give your thoughts on Eddie Howe and Mad Dog Jason Tyndall.
Absolutely brilliant, absolutely fantastic. I mean, look, if you're going to have an assistant manager, you're going to need someone you can trust, have a great relationship, and I think Eddie Howe's also going to have Jason Tyndall on his side.
I mean, they're both they're both at Bournemouth, weren't they? So they know each other inside out. So
absolutely. And the thing is as well, right? I mean, look, if you go in different assistant managers, okay, it's good to learn other stuff, but it's a good question there, Eddie. And I'll tell you something now, right? I mean, those two together are the dynamic duo as far as I'm concerned. Do you know what I mean? Because they know each other's so well, right? I mean, it's working. It's absolutely working, man. Yeah. And big up to those two, Eddie and Jason. I thought they've been fantastic. And
what he's probably done at Newcastle as well, he's probably learnt to delegate, because reading between the lines and bits and pieces have come out since Eddie's left. He was at the club at 5-6 o'clock in the morning, not training, but choosing the kit and things like that. I think he's got a team around him now that he can delegate to. I mean, he was at the club 7-8 o'clock in the evening doing things which other people could probably do now for him.
I mean,
not only on the pitch of recruitment, but how are they going to decorate the away changing rooms and all this sort of stuff. He was always into all that, and I think it was, calls like, where are the away fans going to go when we built the Ted McDougall stand? And he didn't want them behind the goal. He wanted them on the side where the Geordies were yesterday. There's little things like that. And that saps you all the time. So I think he's in a better place, a better structure within the club as well. And it's been said on AFC Bournemouth's podcast that the hierarchy at Bournemouth at the time, let Eddie do it. He's the man, he's doing it on the pitch, let him do it. And they probably let him, his work ethic is quite high. And they probably said, no, let's just let him carry on. And it probably burnt him out a little bit as well. I think that's what I've heard from the, in reading between the lines and people's podcasts and things, So
he could do the same as St James's Park. Then tell the away fans where to go. He could tell the level 7ers, right? I mean, have a singing section, right? Can you remember that, Tony? Level 7, they had a singing section at level 7, right? Eddie could tell the board, have a singing section at level 7 again. Do you know what I mean? And put the away fans in the corner bit next to the singing section. Do you know what I mean? Have it back.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say about Eddie Howe is that in the dark days in the last regime, when we had the previous manager who went through a run where we picked up something like 5 points out of a possible 22, and everybody wanted Steve Bruce gone. At that point, if we get rid of Steve Bruce, who do you want in? My choice would have been Eddie Howe. I said that at the time. So when obviously you got a bit excited when this talk that Emre is going to get the job because of all his credentials, what he's done in Europe, and the fact that he's a winner. When he didn't come and they go for Eddie Howe, I thought, actually, that's a good appointment, because if they hadn't taken over and we got rid of Steve Bruce, he's who I wanted in. And
didn't Steve Bruce recommend Eddie Howe to the board, though? That's what I read a couple of weeks ago.
No, he didn't. No, Steve Bruce and his verbal diarrhea. But Steve Bruce said he left the club because he realised he couldn't manage at the club anymore because was going in a different direction. He didn't leave the club because he was sacked and given compensation. So it's just absolutely horrendous what Steve Bruce has come out with. So for Steve Bruce to say he recommended Eddie Howe to the board is a load of tosh. It's just verbal diarrhea coming out that man's mouth. He just needs to be quiet and keep his mouth zipped, because we all know at the end of the day he's a Man United fan and he's a Mackem, because that's exactly what he is. We should never have had him at the club. The fat man who was in charge of the club decided to bring him in.
There you go.
And we did not want him whatsoever. I couldn't stand the guy. But the thing is, before our takeover happened, July when it was pre-season, before the season started, before last season started, Lee Charnley was actually talking to Eddie Howe about taking over from Steve Bruce, but never went through for some reason. Because I think the fat man said, no, we'll keep with Steve Bruce for now.
Yeah.
And even if we got relegated, they still would have kept Steve Bruce. Actually, would have still kept Steve Bruce. No doubt about it.
I was meant to say, you guys could lose all your games this season. You still stay up, and there's like another 20 games.
Oh, we're safe.
You could lose all your games right now. You could forfeit all your games, and you still stay up.
Still be safe.
Do you know what will keep us in the top 4 this season if we do stay in the top 4? Tottenham Hotspur, because if you watch Tottenham, they're very, very inconsistent. They beat Man City last week 1-0 without Conte on the touchline. Conte back on the touchline after having his gallbladder removed, and Tottenham gets stuffed 4-1 at Leicester.
Yeah. You got tickets for the cup final?
No. I haven't, no.
John's in the ballot.
I've got to find out on by Tuesday. If it comes Wednesday, I haven't got a ticket. I won't be able to go. But if this is the thing, but you know my stance on it, right? But I'm not going to say on here because there could be members watching me show, right, who've not been to a match and got a history without going to the big games, can still get a ticket. I'm in Group 4 and I won't get a ticket. So
I know it's a difficult one.
I think you will get a ticket, John, because the periods for season ticket holders, it's only sort of like 6 and 7 where it's members. And I don't think that I'm not sure how many season tickets we've got. Even if it's 35,000, it's likely that people in period 4 are going to get tickets.
Yeah.
Is that guaranteed though? I mean, look.
I think the thing about it is that not everyone in the other periods would have applied for tickets because they might not be able to go for various reasons. So they wouldn't have got them.
It's going to be like 350 quid, isn't it, for a ticket?
Then if you've got 32,000 season ticket holders, every season ticket holder that applies should get one, because you can buy up to 6 tickets, but they have to be in the same period as you, and people have to be linked to your account. And they've got to be season ticket holders. So season ticket holders the majority of them should get tickets.
Yeah.
Period 5 got season ticket holders that didn't go to any Carabao Cup games. So they're never down pecking order. I think you'll be fine, John.
Yeah, what I was meant to say, we've got a guy here that hates Pablo Newcastle United FC Jones. He's obviously a hater of Steve Bruce because he's just said Cabbage Head isn't fit to manage a Sunday League team, let alone a team in the Football League.
He's my mate, by the way, Pablo, so I know him very well. I know Pablo very, very well. Known the lad for a long while, so a long time. But yeah, he's absolutely right what he's saying. He's not fit to manage a Sunday League team, never mind a Football League team.
Yeah, he was very clueless, Steve Bruce was, when he was at Newcastle.
He's 33-1 for the Southampton job, by the way.
33-1, yeah.
They can have him. They can have him.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you make of the Nathan Jones sacking? I mean, do you think Southampton made the wrong appointment at the time by bringing in the Championship manager?
Has he been
he's gone this morning. Yeah, he went.
Yeah, well, I mean, Southampton is one of them teams to swap managers. Hassan Hoot was gone after 4 years. Now Nathan Jones is gone, who was on Twitter. That said, "Oh, I'm the best manager in the league and in the world." Did you see that?
Yes, I saw that. Yeah, because he said, "Out the best managers in Europe that chose me," and I thought, "Oh, whatever, mate."
Yeah, yeah.
Well, guess who's a favourite for the Southampton job now? Jesse Marsh, 1-4 on to go into Southampton, followed by Gerrard. Sam Allardyce is 12-1.
Yeah.
And Steve Bruce is 33-1 still.
Yeah, it's been.
Yeah, but are they going to employ someone just to keep them up, or are they looking for next season in the long term, short term?
Jesse Marsh won't keep them up.
Nah,
he won't keep them up.
No, nor would Bruce. Bruce won't either.
So. No, he wouldn't, would he? But then he likes a team in red and white, doesn't he, Steve Bruce? So,
yeah.
So that would be Southampton would be perfect.
Yeah, exactly. Then again, Tony, he could send 2 clubs doing Jesse Marsh, Leeds, and Southampton. He could take 2 clubs doing.
Yeah, the new favourite for the Leeds job's Alfred Schroeder. Now he's 1-6 on.
Alfred Schroeder.
Yeah, who's your guys' next fixture then in the league? It's Liverpool, isn't it?
Yeah,
Liverpool at home.
You're at home or away? I think you're at home for that because
we're at home. I went to the away game, and it's
when we were robbed.
My other half's.
What's your guys' prediction against Liverpool at home then?
2-0.
I reckon you'll win 2-0. They ain't scoring. They've been awful. Brighton did the double over them, 2 on the cup, 3-0 in the league. Ball did them 3-0. Brentford did them 3-1. I mean, even Bournemouth could probably do them. Although, we lost 9-0. We were playing rugby at Anfield that day, 9-0. Stick the rugby posts up. Anyway, never lost like that before. But Premier League record. But we had academy players that day because we were injury FC. But never mind. I reckon you'll beat them 2-0, 2-0 or 2-1.
Do you know what the problem is with Liverpool, though? And there's three problems with Liverpool. I'll tell you what the 3 problems are. 1, they lost Mane to Bayern Munich. That's a massive blow because Darwin Núñez hasn't replaced him properly yet. So losing Mane is a big strike against Liverpool. Now the midfield: Milner, Henderson, Fabinho, and Thiago, all in their 30s. They're close to going for their pensions. So they're slow in the midfield. And the third one, finally, is Trent Alexander-Arnold. He's useless at defending. Everybody's targeting him. So there's the three main things that's wrong with Liverpool. You could add 4 into that. You could throw Jurgen Klopp into there as well.
Yeah. So what's your guys' prediction then with the Bournemouth and Wolves then? I reckon if we play like we did against you guys, I reckon we'll win 2-1. But you never know.
That's what I would say, 2-1. I'll say 2-1 Bournemouth. I think hopefully you'll take a lot from that game on Saturday that you played against us, and you'll go to Wolves, play your expansive game like that, because you've got some very good players in that team who are quick. You know, like Traore, I thought he was really good.
And next,
so
yeah,
and then you've got Samineo or whatever you call him coming on. I mean, the thing is, you've got some good players there, and you've got the stealing midfield with Jefferson Lerma, Philip Billing, who can score a goal with a bit of space. So the nucleus is there. I think you can go out there and beat Wolves, and I think you could go out and beat them 2-1, and that might be the result that spurs you on to stay in the league. Because I know I've said to you, you've got Tottenham people like that, but Tottenham are not a great side, so you could easily turn Tottenham over. I mean, you nearly beat them at the Vitality. You should have beat them. You were 2-0 up, and they won 3-2. They robbed you, but you should have beat them by all accounts, really.
Yeah, it's because you don't bring attackers off for defenders because that's just inviting more pressure. Second of all,
absolutely.
Hopefully we beat Wolves. Rowley, what do you think? What's your prediction
for your game against Wolves?
Yeah,
I think it's going to be tight.
Wolves, I don't want whatever you say, mate.
We don't want to draw. We want to win. We don't want to draw.
Yeah, I know, but I know you want to win, but with the number of games less, it's one that you can't afford to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because a draw keeps you in touch with them.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be 1-1.
1-1. Who do you think will score first? Do you think it'll be Bournemouth and then they just sit back?
I don't think they'll sit back, but I think you take the lead. It's just going to be quite an open game because I
don't think he'll do that now. I think O'Neill. He said just before the end of the January window, we've got some looking at players. He's got the side. He's got the squad now. He's got the players to come in, not to sit. So I'm hoping that he'll still keep. Don't invite pressure. Yeah, we'll have to do a bit of game management. So I don't think he's going to be.
What about? Yeah,
that's doing. Like we did against Brighton and Forest. I don't think he's in that ilk now. Maybe not so early. Let's put it that way. But I can't see him, judging by what we saw on Saturday with the players we've got now at his disposal. I think he'll just keep going. I hope he does anyway.
Yeah.
What's your prediction then, John?
For Newcastle Liverpool.
And the Bournemouth one.
Yeah. Well, we got to win. We got to win on Saturday. No ifs, no buts. I'm gonna stick my neck out and go for a 2-1 Newcastle win. And here you got Bournemouth next game.
Wolves away.
That'd be tough. I'm gonna say. I hate to tell you this, mate. I'm gonna say just Wolves because they have improved and they're getting back to their best. So I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say 1-0 Wolves.
1-0.
Just on the Newcastle Liverpool game, we've got to win because not just because it gives us momentum going into the cup final and pays them back for them scoring in the 89th minute of 5 minutes of stoppage time. But I'm going with my other half, who's a Liverpool fan. And we've got to win so I can be smug all night.
Yeah. Wow.
But I think we'll win. I'm going to go 2-0 because they're in Liverpool. If Maxi plays, and because he'll be on the same side as Trent Alexander-Arnold, and if we feed him the ball and he runs at him, we could thump them.
Yeah.
What about carry on.
Yeah, but it's Liverpool aren't a good side this season. At the moment, Nunes couldn't score in a brothel. He's been that bad.
Yeah,
but I say that and he'll probably score on Saturday. No, my luck, but
yeah. I mean, I was watching Nottingham Forest yesterday. Fans who were saying, "Oh, we've just been beaten 2-0 by Fulham," and then they said, "Oh, watch Bournemouth beat Newcastle. That'll be the icing on the cake for us, bloody lot." But I know, and as soon as they said that, we were 1-0 up, and then fair enough, Miggy scored an equaliser, which was coming. You can't see him missing. I mean, it was not outside the box. Would you say he took a shot from like where the penalty spot was, but over to the right more? But he placed it.
It's about that sort of distance.
Yeah, I mean, if Neto saved that, then bloody hell, it would have been an amazing save. But
he
placed it like so far and perfectly into the corner, like no keeper's saving that. And moving on to you, Stephen, what do you think? What's your prediction with Bournemouth and
if Gary O'Neill gets his substitutes right, and we're drawing 0-0, and he gets his substitutes right, and he doesn't sit back and go for a point, I think we'll win. And I'm going to go for 2-1 away win.
2-1 away win, yeah.
I think we've got the players to do it.
We have.
But I just want Gary O'Neill to, he keeps saying he's learning and, he's new to the job, but he gets his tactics right.
Yeah,
uses his substitutions properly.
Yeah, as long as we keep that breaking news in Mexico striker quiet, then we're all good. What's something to say?
I think the problem you've got with Wolves is they've hit some form. They're on a bit of a high. They beat Liverpool the other week. They came back from 1-0 down and a man down to win yesterday. So they're going to be in really good in a really good place. So it's going to be tough for you. But I think you can get a point out of it.
I like that background of yours, Flash Gordon.
Yeah, do you? Yeah.
Let's have a look at that. Look at that. That's
nice one.
You got the what's it called? That's perfect. I mean, it's great to have all you guys on. Pleasure to speak to you guys about the game yesterday and the club's history, and that's been amazing. Thank you all for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
No problem.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for having us on. Yeah, and thanks to Craig as well.
And thank you as well for because he's been away, so I'm admin for today. Thank you for coming on as well, Stephen. Sorry to keep you waiting for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, no, but good luck to the rest of the season, boys. It's been a good one.
Yeah,
and you as well.
Stay up.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Please stay up, Bournemouth. Please stay up.
Stay up, Bournemouth.
Hopefully. All right.
We'll do our best.
Guys, you've been amazing.
Cheers, boys. Good
Cheers.
night.
Thank you. Bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See ya. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Yeah, cheers. It's been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure. Yeah, thank you.